You're in a conversation with someone, and they say they're fine, and something in you quietly doesn't believe them. Not because you're suspicious, not because you're looking for something. You just noticed a half-second pause before the word fine. The way their shoulders didn't settle when they laughed. The small thing they chose not to say. You didn't look for any of it. It was just there. Like your brain filed it away before you even decided to pay attention. And you don't know what to do with that information, so you say nothing. And you carry it with you. Welcome to the video you probably didn't know you needed. Some of you are going to watch this and feel, maybe for the first time in a while, like someone is describing something you thought only happened to you. We're going to talk about what it actually means to notice things others don't. Not the romanticized version, not the TikTok narrative about being an old soul who feels too much. The real version. What it looks like from the inside, what it costs, where it came from, and why, despite how exhausting it can be, it might be one of the most valuable things about the way your brain is wired. There's a concept in psychology called selective attention. Your brain receives millions of signals every second. Sounds, faces, micro-expressions, the energy in a room, and it filters most of them out so you can function without overloading. Most people filter aggressively. Their brain decides this isn't relevant and moves on. But some brains don't filter the same way. It's less like having a sharper lens and more like having a wider aperture. Everything comes in, all at once, before you even decide what to focus on. You catch what others miss, a shift in someone's tone before their words change, the moment a group dynamic subtly rearranges itself, the detail in a sentence that doesn't match the one before it. It's not that you're trying to read into things, it's that your brain has a lower threshold for what counts as signal. And from the outside, this often looks like nothing at all. You seem quiet, attentive, maybe occasionally somewhere else, but on the inside, you're processing 3 conversations at once. Here's something that doesn't get said enough about this. It's exhausting. Not the kind that's easy to explain, not the kind that earns sympathy. The quiet kind. The kind that leaves you drained after social situations that looked easy from the outside. You come home from dinner with friends and feel like you ran a mental marathon because you were there, but you were also watching, noticing, quietly cataloging things nobody asked you to notice. It's like being the only person in a cinema who can hear the projector running. You're watching the same film as everyone else, but you're also aware of the machinery behind it, and you can't unhear it. There's also a particular kind of loneliness that comes with this. Not loneliness from lack of connection. You probably connect deeply when you do. It's the loneliness of seeing things others aren't and having nowhere to put that. Of being in a room full of people and feeling like you're watching a film that the others are inside of. You're present, but slightly outside it at the same time. But here's something most people don't realize. This didn't just appear, it was built. For a lot of people, noticing things others don't developed for a reason. If you grew up in an environment where the emotional temperature changed without warning, where you had to read the room before you walked into it, your brain learned to pay attention. Not as a habit, as a tool. Think of it like this. The way a plant quietly grows toward light, not because it decided to, but because light once meant survival. Your brain leaned towards signals the same way. It learned that paying attention was the safest thing to do. You got very good at detecting subtle shifts, at knowing what someone needed before they asked, at anticipating the moment things were about to change. The environment that required that skill might be different now, but the skill itself never switched off. Psychology calls this heightened environmental sensitivity. You probably called it overthinking, being anxious, or just being too in your head. Both are describing the same thing. The difference is, one sounds like a flaw, and the other sounds like an adaptation. There's something worth saying honestly here, though. Noticing a lot doesn't mean you're always right. You can see things clearly and still misread them.
You can pick up a real signal and build an entire interpretation around it that isn't accurate. The brain that notices everything is also the brain that sometimes connects dots that weren't meant to be connected, that reads weight into a pause that was just a pause, that carries a conversation for days that the other person has already forgotten. Noticing things others don't is a specific kind of gift. Knowing when to set it down, that's the work. If you've watched this far, here's what I actually want you to hear. The way your brain moves through the world is not a design flaw. It is not something you need to quiet or explain away or apologize for. It is a specific way of being wired, one that comes with real costs, but also real value. The kind that doesn't announce itself loudly. It shows up quietly, in the conversations where you said exactly the right thing, in the relationships where people felt genuinely seen, in the moments where you noticed something important before it was too late. You're not broken. You're just paying attention at a level most people don't. You're built to notice, and quietly, that changes more than you think. Subscribe to Mind Room.